Expand design, a roomy cabin, dual-tone interiors, 15 smart utility spaces, and a large boot space, all there to expand your life. Welcome to Easy Space.
Now, as mentioned in your headlines this morning, a Malaysian airliner bound for Kuala Lumpur from Amsterdam was brought down over eastern Ukraine yesterday, killing all 295 people aboard and sharply raising stakes in a conflict between Kiev and pro-Moscow rebels in which Russia and the West back opposing sides.
Ukraine accused terrorists, militants fighting to unite eastern Ukraine with Russia, of shooting down the Malaysia Airlines Boeing 777 with a heavy Soviet-era ground-to-air missiles as it flew from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur. Leaders of the rebels in the Donetsk People's Republic denied any involvement, although around the same time their military commander said his forces had downed a much smaller Ukrainian transport plane, their third such kill this week. The scale of the disaster affecting scores of foreigners could prove a turning point for international pressure to resolve a crisis that has claimed hundreds of lives in Ukraine since pro-Western protests toppled the Moscow-backed president in Kiev in February and Russia annexed Crimea a month later. As word came in of what Ukraine's Western-backed president called a terrorist attack, the Russian and US leaders Vladimir Putin and Barack Obama were discussing a new round of economic sanctions that Washington and its EU partners imposed on Moscow on Wednesday to try to force Putin to do more to curb the revolt against the Western-backed government in Kiev. Malaysia Airlines said air traffic controllers lost contact with flight MH17 at 14:15 GMT as it flew over eastern Ukraine towards the Russian border, bound for Asia with 280 passengers and 15 crew on board. Flight tracking data indicated it was at its crashing altitude of 33,000 feet when it disappeared. An emergency worker said at least 100 bodies had been found so far and that debris was spread over 15 kilometers. Workers were scouring the area for the black box flight recorders. The military command of the rebels, a Russian named Igor Strelkov, had written on his social media page half an hour before the last reported contact with MH17 that his forces had brought down an Antonov AN-26 in the same area. It is a turboprop transport plane of a type used by Ukraine's forces. A rebel leader said Ukrainian forces shot the airliner down and the rebel forces did not have weaponry capable of hitting a plane flying 10 kilometers up. Ukrainian officials said their military was not involved in the incident.
Ukraine's state security chief accused two Russian military intelligence officers of involvement with the pro-Russian rebels in the downing of the Malaysian aircraft, releasing chilling testimony of what he called, quote, inhuman crime, unquote. The allegation was based on intercepted telephone conversations between the two officers and pro-Russian fighters. Now, we have an excerpt of that conversation right here on Newsfirst for your viewing pleasure.
Сбили самолет, группа минера за Янакиева упал. Поехали искать и фотографировать сбитый самолет. Дымится. Сколько минут назад? Ну, 30 минут назад где-то. Да, майор.
Значит, это Чернухинские сбили самолет.
Кто сбил?
С Чернухинского блокпоста. Казаки, что на Чернухина стоят.
Да, майор.
Значит, самолет рассыпался в воздухе в районе шахты Петропавловской. Первый 200-й. Нашли первого 200-го. Была женщина. Да, гражданский.